Hi all, welcome to the video. So recently with the Hoxton housewarming party, I've been playing with a lot of different players, some of which are fairly new to the game or haven't played it in quite a long time. And quite a few of them have asked me what the build I'm using is. So I thought I'd do a video to go over this build inside and out because it is my primary loud build. I do use other ones from time to time. I play around with some other different things to see what works, or just because you fancy different playstyle. But it is my primary loud build and it is tried and tested and very team focused. Works well with AI, works better with human players as well. So the build itself is a tank build. It's designed to soak a lot of damage, support other teammates, keep them in the fight, and be very good at dealing with most things the police throw at you, groups of enemies and specials. So I'm going to go through the skills first. So the first important part are the jokers. It adds extra guns to the fight and they deal quite a lot more damage. Recently I've discovered it used to be 45%, now they deal 200% more damage. I only noticed that recently. So it adds extra jokers to the fight, they soak more damage, deal more damage, but also more importantly you get the hostage taker aced, which is regenerating 4.5% health every 5 seconds, which is even better in this build, which I'll come to later. The second thing is the Doctor Bags and Inspire. As I say, it's a team focused build, it's meant to support other teammates and keep them in the fight, and if you have to stop for 6 seconds to get someone up, even a build as tough as this, that can be risky given if a special like a taser comes along. So you definitely want to be able to Inspire, and the Doctor Bags. Between the first aid and Doctor Bags, it makes more sense to go for the Doctor Bags because you're regenerating health already. So the first aid kits aren't going to really be as relevant to you. So that's the Mastermind side. The Enforcer side, obviously there's going to be a lot of stuff in tank. It's a tank build. You definitely want the flashbang resistance because you're meant to be the primary man at the front of the fight, drawing the enemy fire towards you. If you're knocked out for about 10 seconds by a flashbang, you're going to be out of the fight too long, so you need the reduction in flashbang resistance. Transporter throwing bags further is just generally useful. Bullseye, so you're regenerating 25 armor with a successful headshot up once every 2 seconds. That is actually quite a bit despite what you think, and you can really get the headshots with this build because it relies on a single shot rifle, so it's very good at getting those, so it is quite useful to have those. The Shock and Awe, obviously you want the armor recovery rate because you're a tank. The ability to melee back shields is particularly useful as well. This build does have a grenade launcher which is effective against shields, particularly groups of them, but the problem with individual shields is that it takes quite a bit of time to swap between your assault rifle and your grenade launcher, and if you're up close that can be quite problematic, so the ability to just melee them round is very useful as well. And then obviously the improved combined tactical vest and total armor value up 30%. You're a tank, you want the full armor you can. The Underdog's just like where an extra point spare has been used up. Technician, again up here 8 weapon accuracy. This is actually a bit more important I suppose, but in a sense it's still just where a point's been used up. Ghost. So these two skills actually are quite important because given that you're in the improved combined tactical vest, your biggest weakness is that you're very slow. You are vulnerable to being caught in an area, and just spending these 3 skill points, upgrading your sprint speed, stamina regeneration and your general movement speed, really does help to cover off what is one of your biggest weaknesses. So for just 3 points this does make a lot of difference to your weakness, so it is very worth getting those. As for Fugitive, this is again where it's kind of been a matter of points being used up. The 9 lives isn't too useful because adding to your bleed out health, you've still got 30 seconds. I think it's just adding to the fire you take before you can't shoot while down, and getting down one more time. You've already got 8 med box uses, 3 downs a time, so it's not too useful. But the feign death is quite useful. You've got a 45% chance of when you get downed of just getting back up again yourself. I don't tend to like ones where it's a matter of chance, where you don't know whether it will be there for you when you need it or not, but it has definitely saved me, and in terms of what else to put it into, I can't really see what helps out as much as this does. I would have liked to get Messiah if I could, but with the added, I've only got like about 4 points that are left over that I could free up. And I'd need to spend 3 just to unlock it, and then 12 to ace it, so I'd have to be giving up one of the other higher level skills, so it just isn't worth it. You could swap it out for Inspire, and I do actually have another one where I have swapped out Inspire for Messiah, but that's one that I tend to use when I'm soloing without bots, so the Inspire isn't useful. And obviously this is a team focused one, so you definitely want to have the ability to shout up other people rather than the ability to get yourself up. Particularly as well, because if other people in your team have Inspire, then Messiah isn't really too useful because they can shout you up. And it's better to be able to shout them up than to be able to get yourself up as well. So it's a primarily team focused build. So that goes over the skills. For the perk deck, Muscle. It's a very simple choice because it adds in total there, it adds 80% to your health, 3% to your health regen, which goes on top of the hostage taker for 7.5% health regen. You also draw enemy fire to you because you're the tank, you've got a lot of armor and health. You want the enemy to be targeting you, not your teammates. And also the disturbing the peace actually does help quite a bit because one, you can deal with groups with both your primary and secondary weapon. The secondary is the grenade launcher, obviously that deals with groups. But the assault rifle as well will also panic the enemies, which can stun them. And if you're trying to intimidate people, if there's 3 of them, if you shoot 2, panics the last one, and then you can shout at them, it is quite a bit more effective. So that is quite useful as well. So that goes over the skills and perks. Armour, obviously improved combined tactical vest. We're going over the doctor bag as well. For the weapons, I've gone with the AMR-16 rifle with the DMR kit. This lowers its total ammo and the ammo drops, but it really cranks up the damage. It's at 170 points, which is about the power of the Rattlesnake sniper rifle. On Overkill, it will take out the greened enemies with a body shot, it will take out the tanned browns with a headshot, or with a body shot it will almost wipe out their health, so you can intimidate and joke at them. It's very strong. I think it only takes about a couple of rounds to the head to kill a cloaker, so it's very reliable. If one of those catches you off guard as well, that's on Overkill. The 2 headshots to a cloaker. On Mayhem I think they take a bit more, but it's a very powerful rifle, and the advantage is it's got 60 rounds in the mag, so you're never really going to run out of ammo in a firefight. If you're running out of your mag, you're probably running out of all your ammo. It's all tactical reloads. And the accuracy is at 100, so it is pinpoint. There is no accuracy loss as well, so you can deal with snipers quite well, and you can get those headshots in for the bullseye. Stability at 68 would be nice if it was a little bit higher, but obviously you're firing in single shots, so it doesn't tend to matter too much. And for the secondary, I've got the China Puff grenade launcher. You definitely want a grenade launcher with you because you can deal with groups of enemies, you can deal with shields, and you used to be able to deal very well with even groups of dozers. Obviously now that they run and they're not stunned, it's not as effective. But if you've got a group of dozers, you can still use this to knock off all their faceplates and break the glass and do away with any support they've got. And as I say, this one with a power of 170, if you can get a few shots to the head, the dozer still won't last very long. And if they get in close, you can switch to fully automatic. You'll use up a bit more of your ammo, but obviously if you've got several dozers coming in close, you need to do what you have to fight them off. And so for the last bits, for the melee and throwable, with the melee, because you've got the ability to melee back shields, you want something that doesn't take a lot of time to draw out and can hit very quickly. And since we don't have the other melee damage increasing skills, there's not much point going for the hard hitters like the katana, for example. So the kunai knife was the sensible choice because you also get the poison. The taser doesn't do as much damage and doesn't hit as fast, so that's why the poison kind of has the edge over the taser electric stun. And in terms of just hitting quickly, the only other thing that hits sort of like this fast in terms of when you can do it is just the weapon butt, but it doesn't actually hit as fast after each hit. And very often if you melee a shield, it doesn't knock it to the floor or flip it round each time, so you can have to hit them several times. So that's just why you want something that hits very quickly and between the knives. If you don't have melee damage increasing skills, the poison adds quite a lot of damage to it, so that is particularly useful. As for the throwable, there's no point having grenades because obviously you've got the grenade launcher with you. Molotovs you could, but you probably won't be using fire too much if you're launching grenades at them. And in terms of the other throwables, obviously this has got the poison, so it stands out in front of the playing cards. I haven't actually used the throwing axes or javelins very much. I don't know what those would be like, but those have only got 3 throws each, whereas the shuriken's got 10, and obviously this has the poison going in as well, so that's why I tend to stick with these. But I suppose if the throwing axes or javelins are very powerful, there's no reason why you couldn't use those as well. It is definitely worth having a throwable, particularly with this build as well, because the real weakness with the AMR, if I go into it, I've got the extra weapon stats so you can see the additional details, is the ammo pickup. You're only picking up an average of about 1.5 rounds per enemy. So if you have a few specials like tasers or dozers which chew into them, or a bit of a crisis situation where you have to just shoot off a few more quickly, you can go through your ammo a bit. So while the grenade launcher can help to supplement your ammo, it is good to have the throwing stars as well, particularly if they get in close, because then you can just throw them and you don't have to worry about what happens because you just pick them up afterwards, and even a body shot still poisons them. So that's everything that's in the build, and this is kind of the overall result. You've got an armour of 220, which is a lot, and it will only have about a 2-second armour regen time because of the reduction in armour recovery. So the armour lasts you very well, and even if you lose the armour, you've got a lot of health, 400, and you regenerate, remember, 7.5% every 5 seconds, which is about 30 hit points. So that is quite a lot of health to just be passively regenning all the time on top of the armour as well. I think things like Grinder do still regenerate more health, but obviously with a full armour value of over 200 that regenerates in 2 seconds, the armour is going to definitely go on top of that. And so you really can take a lot of enemy fire without too much problem, because with a 7.5% health regeneration, your full health can regenerate in about 1 minute. So obviously on top of the improved combined tactical armour, you can see just how much damage you're able to soak. It usually takes several snipers or dozers with regular enemies to be able to down you with this. Though obviously if you're reckless or something goes wrong, it has been known for me to go down if something ambushes you from behind. But yes, so that goes over the tank build. So thanks for watching.